Good evening, and our apologies that Mystic Meg isn't able to be here tonight, as advertised, although you don't have to be psychic to predict us telling you that it's due to unforeseen circumstances. In the news this week, emergency workers rush to the scene as Richard Branson's ego inflates without warning. In Aldershot, a lone piper forces local residents to take the law into their own hands. And there are suspicions that police on crowd control duties are secretly addicted to Prozac.
If you're happy,
Our first guest tonight is a man who gave up training as a barrister to become a comedian, so either way it was only a matter of time before he ran into Ian Hislop. Felix Dexter. And with Clive Anderson tonight, the editor of the Daily Mirror, who once boasted that he was related to Liz Taylor by marriage, hardly what you call an exclusive, as we all will be one day, Piers Morgan. So, with the score at 0-0 and just 28 minutes to go, all that remains is a short news quiz. 4 topical stories of the week to disinter. Ian and Felix, your food for thought.
There's nothing whatsoever wrong with our beef. I've been eating beef for years, so you bloody well eat it. I don't care if you're Germans.
Ian,
by the way, 4-2.
Yes.
John Major's changed his act this week. He's turned from John Major into John Bull. Or John Bullshit.
Or
the Daily Mirror's not very gung-ho, are you?
It's all a load of nonsense, and it's Major trying to get some popularity at the last minute, and I don't think the British public will buy it. If you want me to be serious for a moment, which I doubt you do.
Well, it's good news for you, though. You've just discovered somebody who reads the Daily Mirror, because...
It's a more shocking discovery than I've just discovered Ian Hislop can read.
All the bitching
yes.
The United States, of course, banned British beef 7 years ago, and John Major has told them in no uncertain terms that that's fine, no problem at all. Quite understand. Clive and Piers, another bestseller for you.
That's a man on a bicycle.
That's the Transport Secretary who missed his train. This is Rail Track, where we've sold off the rail industry.
Was that the Daily Mirror?
Yes, exactly.
I use the collective we as in you and I, Ian.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Right.
And we've all made lots of money, all those who invested in it have, which I didn't, but I presume a capitalist like Ian would have done. And at the end of the day...
Have you two met before somewhere? And
You're very left-wing for a man who used to edit the News of the World.
He's very left-wing for a man who currently edits the Daily Mirror.
And the next thing, presumably the nuclear bomb, is that we're going to privatise the nuclear industry, and then we can all invest in bombs and make a killing.
No, it's the connection with Nagasaki. It's the London, Tilbury and Nagasaki Railway.
Rail track assets have been listed as 10,000 miles of track, 40,000 bridges and tunnels, 2,500 stations and 1 toilet with a working flush. Ian and Felix, your votes, please.
This has got to be the Eurovision Song Contest. Help me, Felix. Who is this?
Virginia Bottomley.
Who's that? Virginia Bottomley again?
I think so, yeah.
More bottom than bottom, I'd say.
The whole Eurovision Song Contest, I think, gets slammed rather unfairly. In fact, I think it's good because it's like a sort of touchstone for your life, that if you find yourself actually watching it, you know you're a sad bastard. I was actually watching it last week.
It's jolly lucky it happened a week ago, because if it was happening next week, we wouldn't be able to enter it at all, would we?
Got the usual votes from the Germans. Null.
Well, it was us that gave...
China votes.
Us that gave null to the winning number from Ireland, in fact. We were the only country in the entire competition to give null to the Irish.
Totally
well, that should bring Sinn Féin to the negotiating table.
But there is a sort of tragedy involved with the victory, the Irish victory.
Well, I don't understand why this is a tragedy. It means that Ireland has to host the competition again.
No, there was a secret tragedy, which Angus is getting at, which is... we're talking arthritis, aren't we?
Oddly enough, no.
I won't go on, but the tragedy is that the poor girl that won had a terrible arthritic attack moments before she went on stage.
Piers, this is a comedy news quiz. Arthritis doesn't normally feature in that. A lot of sad stories that don't get on.
Well, you're here, Clive.
Yeah. But you won't be back.
Clive, did you used to heckle your parents? Can you imagine, Clive, we'd like you to go to bed. Oh, that's very interesting ambition. He's heckling his own partner.
Just for the fun, Felix. You know.
Quite
It's
used
in
to
your
it.
contract, you'll see. Provide a certain amount of amusement.
Honestly.
Don't come and just get on with Ian and make a friend. It's not a dating agency. Because if it is a dating agency, I should sue. Because I got the good looker.
Clive.
That's the most pathetic attempt to get good coverage in the Mirror I've ever seen.
Clive and Piers, a bit of a gift for you.
Father Ted.
That's Karavich. Radan Karavich, some money. That's the Conservative.
Jeremy Hanley?
Well, this is easy. We can work this out, can't we?
Yes, we can.
This is all to do with the scandal over...
Jeremy Hanley's your one out here.
There's been all this week. People have been giving money to the Conservative Party, and I've worked out, I think, why you've got President Kennedy at the end there, because he cannot have been contributing to the Conservative Party, because he's dead. And
Nothing gets past you, does it?
but I think there's somebody called John Kennedy involved in the story. It's a Conservative MP or something.
It was the closest we could get, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Anyway, he's a friend of this Serb businessman, but we cannot identify the Serb businessman, because if we do so, Peter Carter Ruckers, famous libel solicitor, whose name rhymes with something amusing, he has issued a statement on his behalf, saying that his client, this Serb businessman, has no connections with the unpleasant Serbs, war criminals, at all. And therefore, why shouldn't he give money to the Tory party?
I assumed he could sue if it was suggested he did give money to the Conservative Party. That was a scandalous suggestion that would have him lowered in the
eyes of all right-thinking
right-minded Serbs.
This is the allegation that the Conservative Party managed to raise funds from the Serbs at the height of the war in Bosnia. Apparently it's one of the most dangerous jumble sales ever organised. Tory chiefs have refuted the Sunday Times claim that an anonymous Serb donated £100,000 to the Tory party. Jeremy Hanley said that any funds given to the party were only in accordance with strict rules. That's unmarked notes and no questions asked. Which muckraking brings us slithering to the end of this opening frame, and the upshot is that both teams still have fewer points than the average soap star's driving licence, totalling just 4 each. Round 2 this week scales new satirical depths as we take a hard-hitting and incisive look at a number of public figures photographed when they were babies and try to identify them with or without the help or hindrance of a few misleading clues. So, who is this?
That looks royal to me. That looks Saxe-Coburg. Is it Prince Charles?
It's not Saxe-Coburg.
It's Valerie Singleton, then.
I'll give you a clue.
Might have got that.
He was one of the first victims of Thatcher's Britain.
Dennis Thatcher.
Jim Callaghan.
No, slightly closer to her.
Edward Heath.
Is the right answer.
Well done.
It was Edward Heath, seen here with his last bed partner. Next.
Arthur Fowler.
Is it Richard Branson?
Why do you say that?
Because I can't think of anything else.
Lord Haw-Haw.
Someone with a fat
Lord
face.
Haw-Haw is the closest so far.
Adolf Hitler.
Is the right answer. It is Adolf Hitler, or Mummy's Little Führer. So, let's have another one.
That's a cup. Someone who won a cup early.
If it's the FA Cup, this is a very giant baby. so it's King Kong after a shave or something.
No, your clue is Little Willie.
No.
It's William
Ian
Aldergrave.
Hislop?
We've resorted to genital insult, have we? You and Paula Yates.
Well,
the cream of the nation's wits.
He's called William, actually, to give him his full name. He's not really referred to as William any longer.
William II.
It's President Bill Clinton. Oh. So the next one looks like this,
It's someone topless.
which is not a bad guess.
Samantha Fox.
Not quite that simple, no. No.
how simple is that?
That's pretty simple.
Pretty simple, yeah. She's appeared in court recently.
Gillian Tailforth?
No.
Paula Yates.
Joan Collins?
Is the right answer. It's Joni. Seen here in her familiar pose, although she was keen to point out that the nudity was entirely justified in the context. And finally...
Yasser Arafat. Stephen Henry, is it?
It's... Yasser Arafat or Stephen Henry. This was before he moved up a class.
Oh, it's John Prescott.
Is the right answer. Very good. Yes.
He's a good-looking kid, isn't he? Almost as good-looking as Piers here.
Steady, Clive.
I'm desperate to get into a scandal in the Daily Mirror, then I can sue you.
Well, you're halfway there.
It is John Prescott who played the part of a shepherd in his school's nativity play. A quiet, mild-mannered little boy who never answered back, never got angry and never swore, played the other shepherd. Which joyous bundles bring us kicking and screaming to the end of this particular retrospective, and the situation now is that Ian and Felix must try harder with 6, whilst Clive and Piers are a credit to their parents with 8. Time now for our penultimate round, often regarded as the one before the last. Odd one out is its familiar tag. Clive, your intellectual heavyweights are Selina Scott.
Right.
Julia Carling, Earl Spencer, and Her Majesty the Queen.
Is there something to do with my companion here?
No, you're jumping the gun. It's Selina. She must be the odd one out.
Why?
Well, she's the only one whose partner has not been inside Princess Diana's bedroom.
What are you saying about the Duke of Edinburgh there?
The Duke of Edinburgh has probably been inside her bedroom at some stage. In
What?
Why?
He's doing the dusting, the hoovering? What? Look at the state of your room. You'll have to clean it up.
It's not mine
Get
to
these
read the
posters
wise,
down
isn't
on
it?
the rugby team, for goodness sake, it's ridiculous.
Isn't it all press complaints against
something like
Piers?
It is, I was hoping you wouldn't
Because
realise.
because didn't you
You
send
should know all about complaints here.
But didn't you send photographers in to sneak
me.
up on this chap's wife while she was in a hospital or something, caring like that?
Yeah.
And you got ticked off for that.
Yeah.
And you probably had a go at Selina Scott's sex life.
Well,
and
we only said she'd enjoyed some smoked salmon down by a loch in Lomond. That was all.
A lock in
a
Lomond.
lock in Lomond.
There was only one loch in Lomond.
I don't know what.
Can't remember what it's called now.
The Queen.
No, the answer to this is
Has someone complained? They all complained.
only one of
successful.
them was thrown out, which was Julia Carling. The rest of them were all...
So you lost 3 and Julia Carling.
Well, we didn't lose.
You
three.
beat Julia
We
Carling.
had 3 adjudications against us, which we tried to resist.
Sounds like 3-1 down to me.
Admittedly, we were left in a
But
slightly
you
vulnerable position.
accepted the rulings, obviously, Piers,
Of course we
didn't you?
did, yeah.
As a paid-up member of the Press Complaints Commission, you said, fine, it's a fair cop.
Exactly. What are you getting at it?
No, just checking you hadn't been vindictive about
we
it
hadn't.
afterwards.
And
In no way would I be vindictive
No.
unless it was Rupert Allison.
Oh.
Well, he's the one that brought a case against you, and then you went sent.
No, he thinks we've got a vendetta against him.
Which you have.
The one
No,
that
no,
you
we got
sent
a-
your photographers to the south of France to photograph him.
There's no
That Rupert
vendetta.
Allison, is that the one? Just
Yeah.
because he took a court case against
We
you.
have a vendetta against his party. There's nothing wrong with that.
But you left him alone until he brought a case against you.
No, he's always bringing cases against it. He loves it.
Well, let's not fall out over this. Have we got the points? Have we got the
The
points?
truth is, Julia Carling is the only one who was unsuccessful in a Press Complaints Commission complaint against...
Because
the
they
News of the World.
adjudicated that she'd invaded her own privacy.
They said that unlike
going on
Earl
telly and
Spencer,
talking
for
about it.
instance, who has sold his family photos to Hello magazine repeatedly for lots of money, she had put herself into the public eye. It was deemed that Earl Spencer was entitled to privacy because, presumably, he's...
Well, his wife was entitled to receive treatment in hospital
Yeah,
without being
I-
photographed
but,
having it. Probably
yeah.
was the ruling, the basis.
That was part of it. Yeah. That was the part I'd concede.
But your proprietor agreed with the PCC, didn't he?
He did, yes.
You sort of got rather bollocked by Murdoch, didn't you?
Rather, I got severely bollocked. Yeah.
Did he?
Were you
And then
sacked?
sacked.
If you're now...
Sacked, did you say?
Were you sacked?
That's a very serious thing to say on television.
Did you get sacked?
I didn't get sacked.
You
I'm
promoted
glad
you.
you just said it, because that's going to help pay for the holiday, thanks.
I can just imagine a jury finding for the editor of the News of the World.
It's almost like finding the editor of Private Eye, isn't it? By the way, Ian, you know where you live?
Yeah.
You're about to get a new neighbour.
You?
Happy New Year.
Well, actually, next door neighbours are you going to be?
He'll be within long lens, I can assure you.
Is that a
He's a
photographer?
charmer,
or-
isn't he?
Do you two want to go and have a fight? I mean, you know. The PCC upheld a complaint by Selina Scott that the News of the World, then edited by Piers, had invaded her privacy by publishing the allegations of a man she knew 18 years ago. Alan MacLeod claimed, "I was just defending her from criticisms that she was sleazy," which he did in an article headed "My Sex and Smoked Salmon Sessions with TV Selina."
Are you allowed to repeat that headline without falling foul of the PCC yourself?
Well, we're about to find out, I think. The PCC castigated the Daily Mirror in March for giving away the whereabouts of...
Is there anything else you want to bring in? Nothing to do with your own...
Yeah, this
Nothing to
bit,
do with
actually.
your own career and the way it went up after all the revelations, I guess.
After what?
After we
Exactly.
branded you TV Mr. Sex and you added 3 noughts.
That was Time Out that did that. God bless them.
Be fair, Angus, the Daily Mirror did follow you to Paris to report on your party.
We did.
A party of 25 journalists came to Paris to report on the party.
You're pleased to see us, weren't you,
to
Angus?
take one photograph.
Yeah.
Why did it require 24
Well, we would have
photographers
taken
to
more
do
than
that?
one photograph, but
right.
unfortunately several of your guests decided to start punching him, so he left.
Which ones?
It would be wrong of me to say.
Oh, go on.
Yes, I will continue what I was going to say. But I was going to remind everyone that the
carry
PCC
on. What else have I
castigated the Daily Mirror in March for giving away the whereabouts of Robbie Coltrane's house, saying in some cases the publication of an individual's address might create a potential risk to that person. The Mirror apologised for any stress caused in a press statement issued by their editor, Piers Morgan, of 13 Woodcote Drive, Chigwell.
Actually, can I just say that they rejected that complaint
Did they?
by Robbie Coltrane, so you're entirely wrong to use that against them.
Oh, yeah, but they did say that...
I just thought I'd say that, in
they
case
were
the viewers got the
surprised.
wrong idea by this vindictive attack on me, personally.
Dear.
Carry on.
You're feeling a bit vulnerable.
You're invading my privacy, and I'd
little
rather you left me alone. if you don't mind.
No,
tried
you've
that
stepped
one
into the
once
public
before.
eye now, Piers. You were elected to come on this programme, you've got to take it, I'm
I
afraid.
demand my privacy.
OK, we won't talk to you again then. Ever a man of my word. Piers, your 4 unlikely companions are Rupert Allison, Sting, a koala bear, and Geoffrey Clements, leader of the Natural Law Party.
Is the answer jam?
Not in
Only
so
say
many
that
words.
because last
no.
week Eddie Izzard
Oh,
said
so
everybody
few
roared
words.
with laughter. It was hilarious. I just thought I'd say it.
People like him.
Very good. Very good.
Is it meditation?
Is what meditation?
Thinking.
Are they all named
the
after
correct
bears except for the man from the Natural Law Party?
Named after bears.
Rupert
Bear,
Bear, Koala Bear.
Bear.
Brilliant.
Yeah, the
Sting Bear.
The famous Sting bear.
Bear.
You don't want to
Yeah,
go.
Sting
You don't
Bear.
want to go swimming in the water when there's those sting bears. We've got to-
You were dangerously close the last time when you said, is it meditation?
They all meditate,
apart
from this is something amusing, like koalas do meditate, says a survey by batty naturalists. So the only person who doesn't meditate is the guy who flies.
Is the wrong answer. The answer is that they all practice meditation without the aid of harmful hallucinogenic drugs, with the exception of the koala, who just goes for it. Koalas eat almost nothing but eucalyptus leaves, which has the amusing side effect of leaving them sitting around permanently stoned. Then one of the bears normally sets off to get some Mars bars from an all-night service station. Thanks to meditation and tantric yoga, Sting can make sex last for up to 5 hours, or even longer if he's with someone. Felix, your 4 knobs are Prince Edward, Lord Lucan, Sophie Rhys-Jones, and John Noakes.
Prince Edward's a prince. Lord Lucan's a lord. John Noakes is a sir. He was knighted, apparently. And so that
Got
means
given
that
a blue Peter
that
badge. It's
means-
not quite the same.
that means that
what you were
Sophie
confusing it
Rhys-Jones
with.
is the only one without a sort of Ponzi title, sort of thing. Or if that's not right,
Yes. What do you mean, if it's not? It's a sporting question, actually, if you want a clue.
Sport.
Oh, they were all goalkeepers.
I'm going to have to put you out of your misery.
I haven't got a clue, by the way.
Oh, right. We hadn't realised. The answer is that they are all members of the Cresta Club, i.e. they've all done the Cresta Run, the notoriously dangerous bobsleigh course in St Moritz.
Of course. Got to come back to me now.
With the exception of Sophie Rhys-Jones, who, being a woman, is not allowed to. In 1994, Prince Edward was carefully instructed to lie face down and try not to scream, and in 1995 he did the Cresta Run. And finally, in this round, Ian...
Crowd's gone against you on that one.
Your mixed bag contains Cordelia Gummer, Arthur the Cat, Arthur the Ostrich, and Felix Canal Torres.
Felix is... No, it's not Felix the cat. It's someone else. It's Arthur the cat. He eats meaty chunks. Sometimes fishy chunks, sometimes livery ones. Sometimes tuna, I believe.
I think we've stumbled across an expert area here.
It's about time.
Yes.
Senor Felix
Canal Torres.
is a bullfighter.
Matador, yeah.
Is he? Right.
No, he isn't, is he?
Actually, if you know who Felix Canal Torres is, then you'll get the answer.
Yeah, but I don't, so I didn't.
Oh, right. He is obviously the Peruvian fisheries minister, who appeared on Peruvian TV eating raw fish to prove that there was no danger of cholera, and shortly afterwards was admitted to hospital suffering from cholera. The answer is that they've all been food tasters, apart from the ostrich, which is itself becoming popular as food, as a possible replacement for beef. Ostrich farming is a growing industry, although bizarrely The Independent was recently obliged to print the following correction. In an article on page 4 of yesterday's Independent, we stated that Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber is farming ostriches. He is not. Easy mistake to make. All of which entertaining sound bites mean this odd round is now played out, and the news is that Ian and Felix have a paltry 8, whilst Clive and Piers boast a replete 10. Time now to negotiate the almost over-familiar bosom of our final missing words round, an assortment of half-demolished headlines in need of restoration, an undisclosed number of which may come from this week's guest publication, the literally monthly International Car Park Design. The magazine for the international car park enthusiast. So, eyes down, look in, on police grab what at Palace?
Car parking space.
This is not from International Car Park Design, I might say.
Well, how we
Intruder.
No.
All right, no need to be so unpleasant
It
about
was something.
I just said intruder, it could have happened.
Yes, but it didn't. Police grab air pistol, in fact, at Palace.
Whose was it?
An intruder's. Next, AAHQ includes what?
Statues of George Best and Oliver Reed.
Oh, that AA, right.
Just a word association with you, Piers, isn't it? Everyone else thought of the motoring organisation, but give it up, don't you worry. You'll get there. One day at a time. I think the answer here is...
I'll tell you what, let's see if you get a better laugh, shall we?
Yeah.
Smart ass. Come on.
I think the answer is 2 consonants and a vowel, says Scrabble champion.
Fairly muted, I'd say, Clive, but
No, but I
nice
got the
try.
laugh being rude about you, so it's all right.
Yeah, but we'll cut that out.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so.
I think
Angus Willoughby's got any sense.
I think it's unlikely. It is, in fact, 760 space car park. With
that.
2 decks, each with an entrance and an exit, which is a bit of a brilliant innovation, in my opinion. Next, what kills hippo?
It's either Mother Teresa or David Attenborough. Or car falling from
both.
car park.
Ladybird. Caterpillar.
It's
Jam. You see, Piers?
So that's comedy.
The answer is tennis ball. The tragic tale of a 2-ton hippo who swallowed a tennis ball in Germany.
Surely you must have covered that in the Daily
Yes,
Mirror.
you're not doing
That's
very well
exactly
on
a
these,
page
are you?
5 story.
What do you know about newspaper editing, Clive?
About as much as you do.
Dear, oh dear, Clive. So you plunge merrily deeper.
I know it's not fair, because the
Next.
Mirror now is almost as good as the Sun. The last time I was rude to you, you sent photographers around to my doorstep the next day, so I'm not doing that again.
You won't see them this time.
Sorry.
He is charming, isn't he?
So don't try the popularity line with me, Hislop.
Why?
Anybody here like it? Do you like him? Anybody actually like him?
I may not know much about editing newspapers, Piers, but Ian is a regular on this show. These are all people who come to see Ian. We're strangers. They don't like us. They've never heard of us.
Although I wasn't cheering then, I must say. Next, it seems irrelevant, but there is a quiz going on. Next, John Major does a what?
Whoopsie.
Does a Maggie.
Does a Maggie, yeah.
Does a Maggie is the right answer. Does a Margaret Thatcher, yes.
Yeah, I knew that, yeah.
By which
Do
was
we
meant...
get the points? Because I said it simultaneously with...
No, you don't.
No,
No.
I did.
Simultaneously
I
in the
got
sentence
it.
just afterwards.
No,
you
no,
said
no,
it.
Yes.
No, I said it simultaneously, Clive.
No.
Oh dear, it's
You're
getting nasty.
carping over technicalities.
So let's argue. We're the only two people still speaking to each other.
Now, because you're arguing, neither of you are going to get a point.
Oh, that's so unfair on Piers. That's the first I've all evening.
Next, what to restore order to Beirut?
Vinnie Jones?
Davy Jones. did you
Vinnie
say?
Jones.
Oh, Vinnie Jones.
Multi-storey car
Nothing
park.
to do. Is the right answer. Underground car park is in fact... A fascinating article about two linked four-storey car parks accommodating some 800 cars, which Ian obviously read, in International Car Park Design. And finally, Mercy, it's the what nuns...
Pay and display.
An interesting order there.
Yes.
The Avenging Nuns.
The
Singing.
Avenging Nuns, no, it's even more absurd than that, really. Mercy, it's the Karate Nuns, the Roman Catholic Sisters of St Anne's Convent in Madras, South India, taking karate lessons, apparently. So there we go, which
How
no
are we
one
supposed
read.
to know that?
Well, I was rather assuming that someone who edited the paper might possibly have read one or two, but evidently not. Which blind panic slams the door in this evening's Battle of Half-Wits, and the final reckoning reveals that this week's short straws are Clive and Piers with 10, and this week's giant haystacks are Ian and Felix with 11. And I leave you with news that as the BBC announces plans to remake The Flower Pot Men, there's a surprise piece of casting for the role of Bill. In Rome, the Pope is unimpressed as one of the leading cardinals makes the rabbit disappear. And readers of the Daily Mirror complain that this week's Spot the Ball competition is far too easy. Good night.
The same devastating team, the same